Pond-Offs Anonymous is brought to you in part by McKelvey Insurance. Let's be honest, insurance sucks until you need it. That's why I fuck with McKelvey Insurance. These folks aren't just slinging quotes like robots. They're actual humans who solve real problems. Whether it's personal or commercial insurance, McKelvey works with over 30 companies to make sure you've got the best coverage at the best price without the bullshit. You're not just a number to them. They build real relationships. So when life changes, or your rates do, they've got your back. They'll shop around again and again to make sure you stay protected without ever overpaying. Call or text 618-623-0080 or hit up McKelveyINS.com. That's McKelvey, McKelveyINS.com. McKelvey Insurance. Quick solutions to real-life insurance problems anywhere in Illinois or Missouri. Guys, let me tell you about my good friends at LightSource. LightSource Psychotherapy in Belleville, Illinois is a small group practice committed to providing individual, group, and family therapy, as well as clinical and reflective supervision to those in the helping field. Check them out at findyourlightsource.com. They are the best in the business, my friends. I know them personally and well enough to tell you and put my name and word on it. If you're struggling with mental health, family issues, addiction, grief, you name it, give my friends Chaz and Holly a call. Their private practice is life-saving, and they will help you find your light.
Yeah. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. Yeah. React if you have to, yeah. Don't know the time, yeah. Just know that I'm, yeah, one of a kind, yeah. What's on your mind, yeah. Well, hard to find, yeah. Beautiful mind, yeah. Still in my prime, yeah. Just know that I'm here.
We could roll.
What a tease, motherfucker. What's up, everybody? Keep that on.
Yeah, I will. Right.
Welcome to the podcast, Jeff Allen.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Thanks, Brittany. Your wife was late?
She was. Today is the first day of school.
You didn't
Charlie
get
had
the
his
joke?
first day, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, not this time. Thank God.
You're supposed to, like, fall out of your chair. Your wife's late? Yeah.
Hey, should we give this hat to Jacob?
Yeah, that was hold on. That was the scariest phrase in high school. I'm late.
See your phrase now.
Right. No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a little unboxing.
Yeah.
What's going on?
This is what we found for Jacob for his birthday.
Hey, are these cameras on?
They are on.
How do I look? Anyway, back to Jacob.
Look fantastic. This is his new hat.
Look at that.
Make boofing great again.
Are you going to wear that?
I'm gonna wear it every day of my life.
That's incredible.
Nice.
Oh, my God.
Or I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger to make sure it fits my head. But
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't fit my head, which I have a huge head.
Jacob needs a Pond-Offs Anonymous hat ordered. I'm wearing a different hat tonight.
Yeah, I like that one.
Supporting free recovery community in Denver. The church that we went to, I was telling you about. We'll do an episode about it. They're opening one in Chicago. A buddy of mine has opened it. Seth.
I saw that, yeah.
So I'm sporting my fuck fentanyl.
Mm-hmm.
I was asking Jacob earlier, am I a poser? Because I never did Fetty.
I didn't either.
There we go, Mike.
Yeah.
It didn't even exist.
I don't think fentanyl existed back then.
I think you can still say.
They didn't have fentanyl in the 1910s?
Yeah, no. They didn't even have light beer.
That's when you were driving your horse and buggy to the tavern.
Yeah.
You got a RUI riding under the
I was trying to put those two together.
So Mike Morrison's here to join us.
Yes.
Morrison, like Jim?
Yeah.
Nice.
Any relation?
No. Well, maybe way, way back.
Jim partook.
Jeff Jeff's a music guy.
Yeah.
Are you a music guy, or were you just bullshitting about that with Chris earlier?
I was just bullshitting.
Okay.
He just every day it seems like he posts something where with a band behind him
Yeah.
and people smiling, you know.
He's just trying to get laid.
Yeah.
Is he a big band guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So he says, we'll find out next week. He's coming on next week. I fucked my back up. My back really. You know how I did it? Fucking. I did it. She's gonna kill me
Good
for
for
saying
you.
that.
Hey.
She's gonna kill me for saying that, but I
Must
did.
be vigorous.
It had to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the sad thing is it wasn't. I mean, God, I just, when you come with the thunder, man, you just got to take a little risk. Anyway.
Is that the most physical activity you get? Is that how you know it's from that?
It's my exercise. Right. No, I was going, it was before we left for Vegas, and I did get bent over about every fucking blackjack table in Las Vegas. But, well, going away Thursday morning, and I'm telling you, I haven't, my fucking back and a muscle that I didn't know I had. I think it's a muscle. I was thinking it was like an internal organ. When I used to drink a gallon a day, Mike, of rich and rare $9.99 a gallon whiskey. I would, if I got any pain between my chin and my dick, I thought I was like, was it. My organs were just done. So I still get that hypochondriac now. My back hurts. I'm like, something's shutting down, and it's just a muscle. I'm still here. So,
Get used to it.
Yeah,
As the years roll by.
The older you get, yeah, it is just a sign of aging, I suppose. We had Jakob's bachelor party in Vegas this past weekend.
How'd it go? Was it fun? Did you end up at the strip club, or did you?
We did not.
Yeah, I knew you didn't want to go.
I don't do strip clubs.
We didn't. I think at one point, these guys wouldn't get off the blackjack table.
Why are you winking at all of us, John?
Well, I was going to send me a text.
Let me tell you something. She listens because I got chirped by her about 2 hours ago.
Did you
Yeah.
really?
She listens to all of them. Yeah.
So, FYI.
What did she say? We don't want to talk about that.
I'm not asking.
He doubled down on that.
It always cracks me up how many people in recovery go to Vegas for their bachelor parties, like the most freaking debauchery.
It's
filled.
unbelievable. This is the second. So we did Eric's last May, and then this one. And I'm sitting at a blackjack table. They all went to the dunes in the desert, and I got some PTSD from that shit. So I hung back. And I was playing blackjack, and a bunch of kids came up. They all got carded at this table. I didn't. And I'm not that old, but it's like, fuck. And they ended up being Ole Miss. They graduated from Ole Miss like 3 or 4 years ago, and they were in town for a wedding. And I told them what I was in town for. And you get a lot of fucking miles. They're like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, there's 10 of us in recovery, long-term recovery. Half of us were homeless on fucking, blowing guys on the strip for fentanyl. And now we're all in recovery in Vegas. And they're like, oh. And then one of the kids goes, so how did you know when you had a problem? I go, well, it was this one time I was in Vegas at a blackjack table at 2:30 p.m. and I ordered my second Moscow Mule. He just ordered a Moscow Mule, and he was like, "I'm just fucking with you." He was like, "Oh my god," his eyes were rolling in the back. No, I think it was. We had a lot of fun. It was a really, we ate well and a good group of guys, and we went out there and didn't. It was 174 degrees outside, so we didn't leave the hotel much except for when they went sand duning.
And dunes, we did Sphere. Sphere was cool.
Oh, was it?
That was great, yeah.
Did you see something cool there? What did you see?
Jeff might have produced the show. It was like the most liberal planet Earth
It's really
Discovery
what it was, yeah.
Channel.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah,
I don't think. I mean, it to each their own.
It was like watching like a documentary on the world,
on the Animal Planet,
like Animal Planet, but then like just very weird literal phrases that come out of nowhere. But it was awesome. Like the screen's amazing. The place is amazing.
Oh yeah,
and like
that's
protect
super liberal.
and like don't destroy the Earth. Those
Right.
those
Those
liberal,
liberal
those shithead liberals. But no, they did this spin. It's called Postcard from Earth. They did this spin at the end that basically was they left Earth to let Mother Earth heal. And they had to create life on a new planet. And it was an Adam and Eve situation. But, Adam nor Eve were white people. It was it was like so because of that it's liberal.
Yeah.
Because
Did
there's
they take
diversity
off?
in the world.
I
Right?
didn't even
did
notice
they take
that
off in rocket ships?
Yeah,
or something?
yeah.
They did.
It did.
Oh, it was wild, yeah. And yeah, right. So but it was all fossil.
So-
it was not fossil fuel.
It wasn't you two. You didn't get to see like a good band.
It was cool though. The Sphere is really something else.
It's so big.
I fucking hate heights, so there was a little bit of that to it because you're real steep, and to get to like the 400 level, you go up these escalators. Reminds me of the dome, the shithole the Rams played in.
Those escalators are huge. They're like 6 stories each.
Yeah, and
It
you
was
could
nuts.
look over them. I'm like,
My legs, I don't trust my knees anymore. I was terrified.
My fucking asshole was puckered. And then you're in the sphere, and they kept saying, like, the show's going to start. You got to get to your seats. Like, rushing you in. Like, fuck, who cares if I show up 30 minutes late, paid for the ticket? But they were forcing you to be in your seat because it's like a full immersion experience, and they really pop off the screen. So if you're walking down these steep ass stairs and there's elephant charging you all of a sudden, you could fall. But they like walk over your head, and this elephant's fucking sack and balls were getting ready to teabag me. I'm ducking. I said, that kind of reminds me of myself. It was something. I would go, and then they showed the Midwest storms, and I was waiting. I'm like, man, play Twister on this. Let's see some flying cows. That would be badass. They said they played UFC fight. Nathaniel said
they did UFC fights there. Wizard of Oz is about to be there.
I saw that. They had the looks like the sphere landed on Dorothy.
Oh, wow. Oh, I saw that I saw a picture of that on Facebook.
I bet you did. That's probably in your algorithm.
It sounds like it was kind of a filler show in between good shows.
Yeah, that's what it is. Sure. Kind of like their during the day hour show, because Backstreet Boys played that night.
Oh, and there was some
meant to get tickets to that.
Yeah, we messed up with the orders, thick thumbs.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, if we planned it better, we would have went, because it was 90% bitches, and they were all dressed in like hot ass girls going to this thing.
Right, I'll bet.
And they were all dressed in white. That's
and they
how
were
you
at
do
least your age.
True, because or older. Yeah. Because if they like the Backstreet Boys.
Right.
Yeah.
Mike, we're bullshitting without you here a little bit. Sorry for hogging your time. Thanks
I noticed
that.
I'm a little offended.
Yeah, I bet. I'm real excited to get to know you here on the podcast. I've heard great things. The source is Jakob, though, so
take it with a grain of salt.
Right. I'm not a skeptic, but I just wanted to lay that out there.
Okay.
That it comes from Jakob and Chris Lane. So, just letting you know where the praise is coming from. But I am excited to meet you, and I do really appreciate you coming out.
Well, thanks for having me.
And you live out by me.
Yeah.
In Webster. That's awesome. We could have called.
I don't live in Webster.
Oh, is that an Oakland thing?
I live in Oakland.
Nobody knows there's an Oakland.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's like Westboro Country Clubs. They try to, we're not. It's right where Oakland is, isn't it?
Yeah, and Ursuline Academy. It's right in between Kirkwood and Webster. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the Switzerland of the Kirkwood Webster.
I live in Lower Oakland.
Lower Oakland.
Yeah. Right.
Got it. So yeah, do you go to Freddy's?
Sometimes, yeah.
I love that little market.
Yeah. It's real handy, you know.
Yeah. I love the area. I mean, I was a regular at every fucking bar here in Belleville, so
yeah.
When I got dumped out of rehab, they dumped me in Webster at my mom's house, and it was probably a good move.
Yeah, I grew up in Kirkwood.
I don't have the Kirkwood hate that the Webster folks do. Mm-hmm. Is that why you say I'm not in Webster? I'm in Oakland,
yeah,
because you're a pioneer.
No, well, like in high school, that was kind of the thing, you know.
And I've always heard that Kirkwood just beats the fuck out of Webster in football and basketball.
I think a lot of the time they do.
They do the Turkey Bowl football game. That's a big one out there. And I think if Webster keeps the route under 40, it's a good day for the Webster Grove Statesmen. But what do I know? So you grew up in Kirkwood, Missouri.
Yeah.
Awesome town. You know, there's something about Belleville or Franklin County that if you grew up in either one of those, you ended up becoming an alcoholic or a heroin addict. So tell us how Kirkwood, growing up in Kirkwood, ended you up in a life of recovery.
Well, you know, it's a community that looks very kind of Leave It to Beaver-ish, you know,
sure.
And it is. But one time I kind of went through history. And I mean, I knew 14 heroin addicts just in my grade or the grade below me from high school.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you know, but I grew up in the 60s.
I was going to ask you the decade.
I grew up in the 60s when, you know, everybody was doing psychedelics and smoking weed.
It's a line from Half Baked. I remember when a dime bag cost a dime.
Yeah.
Willie Nelson.
Yeah. And so, you know, like one thing leads to another. And
were you a hippie?
Yeah, pretty much.
I
mean, I was really a druggie.
Okay.
I think a lot of hippies were actually druggies.
Yeah.
I had long hair and wore weird clothes and listened to music and stuff. But really, I wasn't like into any big social.
That's
anything.
so. Remember Sally was doing drum therapy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she still does.
Yeah, so she tells you you're not a fucking hippie unless you take up a cause. She's a hippie. So she always tells my buddy Screech, you're not a hippie just because you smoke pot and wear a tie-dye shirt. You got to take up a fucking cause.
Yeah. Well,
She's our drum
I grew up
therapist.
in the Vietnam era.
Yeah.
So there was a built-in cause right there,
Sure.
that a lot of the hippies, of course, were
Bird
against, But no.
Which I'm all good with. When I hate to hear when it turned from anti-war to anti-soldier, which that's where I didn't grow up during that time.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, I didn't know a lot of people that were anti-soldier. I mean, I didn't pay that much attention. I didn't give a shit. It was like I was fucked up all the time.
You just wanted to get high.
Yeah, I just wanted to get high, and I didn't. I knew a lot of people, or some people that got drafted and went to Vietnam, and there were people I knew.
Sure.
And so I wasn't going to like hate them because they got drafted and got sent to Vietnam. It was just for me. It was just like most of us couldn't figure out why the hell we were even there.
Right. I don't think we still know.
No, it's like, why are people going over there and
to get fucking slaughtered?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that was kind of a cause, but again, I wasn't. It wasn't my thing.
Were you? I always think of growing up. I'm a history guy. I love that shit and like the Forrest Gump stuff. There's always usually music surrounded and Woodstock. Grateful Dead, those guys, and that kind of keeping that movement alive. Fish, Teresa's listening to Fish right now, I'm sure. She wants to come on, but I'd love to have her back on. She was on, but they still have the hippie movement. You a Fish? You like?
No, I'm not a Fish guy.
Yeah. I'm not either. But I was a Dead guy. I wasn't like a Deadhead that followed them all over the country.
They went to the Sphere.
Yeah.
I think they're coming back. They sell out like a whole weekend.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. But, I went to a lot of Dead shows.
Sure.
St. Louis was like a hot spot for the Dead. They really liked St. Louis. Yeah, they, as I recall, they almost purchased the Fox Theater because they loved playing shows there for them so much. Yeah, so, we'd go to a lot of shows like that. Nice. And people would be walking around with little vials of liquid LSD putting on everybody's hand, and you'd just be there for 4 or 5 hours of Grateful Dead.
Did you do anything, or was it like strictly one drug?
No,
you just whatever the fuck would get.
Oh yeah. I was definitely a poly substance abuser.
Okay,
at pretty much anything.
Sure.
Yeah. As I always say, my drug of choice was what do you got?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
When and you started in high school in Kirkwood?
Yeah. I started. I actually was walking to a friend's house in Glendale, which I'm sure you.
Yeah.
And I guess I was right before freshman year, and I'd never smoked weed or anything like that, but you knew about it, you saw it on TV and all that stuff, and the guy said, "Hey, you want to smoke some hash?" And I'm like, "Hash, huh? What's hash?" And he told me, and I said, "Okay, I'll try it." And I smoked it, and it was like, whoa, this is the missing vitamin, that I've always looked for, that little supplement that I need. So I got some from him, and I went that night, turned my friend on, my best friend, and we, sat in his room and blinked the lights on and off and listened to Jimi Hendrix and so it was.
I have a visual of this room from the movies and shit. Dazed and Confused.
It was exactly like that. And
what year did you graduate high school?
69.
Okay. My mom's a 76.
Okay.
And so was my dad, but I asked that because the movie Dazed and Confused was based on the class of 76.
Yeah.
How
69 was the summer of love.
Did that movie, was it pretty? Have you seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Was it pretty accurate portrayal?
It's exaggerated some, but fairly accurate. It was weird though, because like in high school, me and my friends were all getting high, but we didn't think anybody else was getting high.
No.
And then later on in life, you run into people and they're like, "Oh yeah, we were all getting high. We were getting
fuck.
high. Everybody's getting high."
I hated that guy. We could have been best buddies.
Right.
For world peace.
Right.
Yeah.
So then after high school, did you get to go to college? Did you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, okay, so you want to hear just a little bit of my history?
Yeah, baby, let's do it. That's why we're here.
So I grew up in Kirkwood, mom, dad, younger brother, station wagon in the driveway. It was very Leave It to Beaverish. Okay, my parents were good parents. They made me go to Sunday school. My mom was a den mother for Cub Scouts. I went to Boy Scouts. I mean, all that kind of stuff, right? And they had very high expectations of me, that my mom wanted me to go to medical school and this and that. And you know, I didn't know what the hell I wanted. You know, who the hell knows what you want to do when you're a freshman or a sophomore? I didn't. Mm-hmm. And I was getting high. And so it began to mean less and less to me. You know, it was really all about just like, well, I'm just gonna party all the time and have fun, and I'll worry about all that shit later.
Right.
Well, by the time and I was a good student, but by the time I got out of high school, I was no longer a good student. I was a shitty student, and I couldn't even get into Mizzou. So
shots fired at Truman. God, I could have paid you to say that. I would have paid you to take a shit on fucking Missouri. I went to Illinois.
Yeah.
And the rivalry, but then this Mizzou shit. Yeah. Oh fuck! There's so many people I know that I'm going to send them the timestamp.
Okay, but hold on. So I had to go to.
I couldn't even get into Mizzou.
So I had to go to Merrimack.
Okay.
To get my grades up a little bit, and then go to Mizzou.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I moved in with my buddies, and it was 1970, and it was just like, I mean, I was really unprepared for being on my own away in a university town.
Yeah.
And it was nothing but every day getting high, drinking, psychedelics, speed, and I got kicked out of Mizzou.
Nice.
In pretty short order. And Vietnam was going on, so I jumped back into Merrimack, where a bunch of other losers who were getting high all the time were going to school. So
you brought these, was that a way to not get drafted?
Yeah. I had draft numbers. They gave draft numbers back then.
Sure.
And I was number 69, which was low. Mm-hmm. And so I went to Mizzou. I went to Merrimack, and sat in the student union, meeting people that all got high and partied, and it just continued there.
So wait, to explain that 69. When you say low, that means you're going to get called.
Yeah.
Out of
Yeah. There were I think there were 365.
Us spoiled little pussies, the generation of non-war generations that can't fathom having that.
Yeah. And
that's a good perspective, I think. Jakob will say for liberals, but I think for anybody that it is a buddy of ours we were talking to at the bachelor parties, wife's Ukrainian and had to flee 3 different countries in Europe to get here. It's just sometimes good to hear that.
Well, you're 19 years old. You're watching every night. You're seeing on television, you're seeing Vietnam and guys carrying bodies and dead Vietnamese, dead Americans, and you're just like, and I could be called up, and in 2 months, my ass will be over.
Yeah, didn't they like live broadcast calling them out, calling the numbers out? You have to watch TV, and you be watching TV with your family, and learn that you have to go to fucking war. That's crazy.
Yeah,
and I'm not like, I'm liberal, but I'm not like anti-armed forces. I'm not anti-war if it's a legit just war.
Sure,
at all, man. But
I think most of the people in the center that it's the lunatic fringe, as they call it, for both sides.
Exactly.
Is that us?
Yeah.
Jeff, according to Jakob, it's everybody.
But anyway, so
kiss the ring.
For me, it was like dominoes. Drugs were like dominoes. Okay, they showed you all these movies and classes and shit about pot, and you smoke pot, and you're like, fuck, this is great. They don't know what they're talking about. Then they say, if you take LSD, you're going to stare at the sun till your eyeballs burn out of your head. And I took LSD, and it was like fun, so I'm going to take it all the time. And then
prove them wrong. You didn't stare at the sun.
No, ever. No. And then, and there was like this whole exotic nature to all of the psychedelics, mushrooms and, what do you call it? Peyote and all that kind of stuff. People bringing peyote back from Mexico or Arizona into town.
Tony Soprano took peyote.
Yeah.
Season 6.
All that kind of stuff was going on.
Puked all over it the first time he took it. Mm-hmm. And I've never done it. So, what is it? And to glorify it, but what does it? It is a psychedelic.
Yeah.
And when we in high school, there was the sheet acid, which was the dog shit that would really fucking fry you out. Mm-hmm. And I've seen people have bad trips on it, and it was like, I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. So I never touched it. And then there's they always said mushrooms are a way better, quote unquote, fry.
Yeah,
but they're all psychedelics.
Yeah,
right?
they're all psychedelics. Yeah, and it depends on how much you take and all that kind of stuff, But it was all fun to me.
Sure.
I didn't have bad trips. I just had fun most of the time.
Yeah.
And so I just thought, like, well, shit, drugs good, And
now we're talking 19, 20.
Yeah. And then, somebody lays out some coke, and you do some coke, and you're like, oh, that feels good, So you start doing coke and meth. People.
That was around?
Oh yeah, meth was around.
Really?
And speed, a lot of speed was around. Okay,
sure.
But it was like Black Beauties, which was pharmaceuticals, super powerful speed, and there was White Crosses, which I don't know if that was around when you guys. But
they didn't have. I mean,
on college campuses, they were like jelly beans, like people just popping.
They were called White Crosses.
Yeah, it was speed. And that was pressed by somebody, in presses. And they were just
Black Beauties and White Crosses. I thought you were talking like a race war. Yeah. That's all I hear when I hear that shit. But that's wild that I remember in Champaign, there was this glass jar weed that my cousin used to get from Canada, and it was called Purple Pluton. But other than that, we didn't have names. But that's like marketing. Hey, check out these Black Beauties.
They were black. They were black pills, and the White Crosses were little teeny white ones with a cross on it. Uh-huh. So it wasn't like it wasn't a religious thing. It was a Christian drug,
spiritual. Yeah.
But so it was just all of it was just like available, and I didn't think anything was that wrong.
Was it super, expensive?
No.
Was everything pretty really affordable?
Yeah, it was fairly affordable. And, if I compare myself to the people I was associating with all the time, I didn't see many worse than them, and these were all like, kind of like middle-class guys from Kirkwood and Webster and different places that were in college towns. And, it was like, it just seemed like that was this thing to do. And I always had in the back of my mind that at some point I'm going to grow out of this shit.
Yeah. I was thinking grow up.
I just need a break, or I need to figure out what I really want to do with my life or something, But I was getting deeper and deeper into it, and I was drinking a lot. I drank a lot on top of it all. And
but no red flags at this point.
Oh, well, I got busted with a couple pounds right out of high school.
That's a lot. That was just rolled right off the tongue.
But it wasn't a red flag.
Well, I'm glad that was pre-Reagan.
Yeah, it was not. It wasn't a red flag.
Pounds of weed.
Yeah.
What did you get? Was it a hand slap or?
Well,
what did they do?
I got busted in Des Peres. And so they took me to Des Peres jail.
That's a rough jail.
Yeah, it was tough. Yeah. And my parents came, and they were
lobster tail for dinner.
They were crying and everything, and my parents were freaking out.
Your mom, the den mother.
Yeah,
poor thing,
freaking out.
Was your brother? You said you had a brother.
Yeah.
Did he party?
Yeah, he did. He did. Not like I did, but he did. And but it wasn't a red flag. It was like it was the fucking cops. They busted me, and I was set up.
They did it, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, this shouldn't be able to do this. Weed's not bad, But
wow! It's even back then. It was the weed's weed isn't bad, it should be legal. So this started.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like my parents knew a attorney in Kirkwood, and the judge was Judge Hester, who was one of my good friend's father. And, one thing led to another, and so I got put on probation.
Sure.
And
yeah, I can identify with.
This is how different it was. I was on probation, right? And when I went away to school again, to the university again, my probation officer said to me, he pulled me aside, he goes, "Listen, Mike," he goes, "look, when you move down to Columbia," he says, "be real careful. There's a lot of narcs down there. I know you're going to be getting high." That was my probation officer. So if
nobody likes a snitch.
Yeah. So if your probation officer says that, you're kind of like, yeah, see, this is all bullshit,
All right.
So
accountability.
Yeah. I ended up, I went to SMS down in Springfield because my cousin went there, and my cousin was fairly good influence. I thought, it was a geographical escape is what it really was, because I got kicked out of schools. And
fucking one of the meth capitals of the world in Springfield.
Yeah, there was a lot of meth down there.
I think Live PD's first first season was in Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
And I did some meth. I mean, I wasn't a huge meth guy, but I did some meth. There was this truck driver named Roger the Dodger. It was just like this fucking hillbilly truck driver, meth addict that would come. Like any time, night or day, he would pull his 18-wheeler just in front of our house down there and just bust in the front door with like a bag of meth and a radiator cap and some syringes and say,
incredible.
Let's go to town. Yeah.
Roger the Dodger. That's a big drug for truck drivers.
Oh,
used to be. So it still is.
Yeah. He would shoot it up while he was driving.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Takes practice. But it's not on the CDL.
But so I was,
Roger the Dodger. I love it.
Yeah. The first time I shot dope, any kind of drug, I was in Columbia, and a friend of mine who was a little more advanced in his addiction than me came into town. He had some MDA, which was the predecessor of MDMA. And he said, "Hey, you want to shoot some up?" I'm like, "Fuck, no, I don't."
Right.
His name is Tom. He's dead now. I said, "Tom," I said, "Hell no, man, you're shooting. I'm not going to do that." Because there were two things you never did in my world. It was you don't use needles and you don't do heroin. Okay. Because that was the bad.
Those were the
bad drug addicts did that.
Right.
Real drug addicts.
That's justification to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
That was. I think we felt that way in high school and in our 20s. Still, it was that transcended decades.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Don't if you're a heroin addict, those fucking junkies.
Yeah, exactly.
I do coke.
Right.
I don't do heroin, and I certainly don't touch needles.
Right.
Fucking junkies.
Well, it's to show how addiction insanity works. Though.
Right.
So. And I didn't do it. And I was like, I'm not doing that shit. And so that night, it was a weekend, and I was out partying, hitting the bars, doing this and that. And I ended up at this apartment, and there's a bunch of people partying. And in the back room, there's my friend from St. Louis who had come in town, Tommy. And he and a couple of guys are back there shooting MDA. And I was high, I was drunk, and he asked me again, and I made a different decision. I said, "Okay, I'll check it out, man." And I held my arm out, and he shot me up. And, and frankly, it scared the shit out of me because it was so freaking powerful.
And that's what it is. MDMA's X?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I've never even heard it, knew it was shootable. Like it was.
Well, MDA was. And it was, who knows what it really was. It was like a combination of meth and coke mixed together is what it felt like. And
it hit you?
Huh?
It hit you when you put that needle in?
Yeah. And, the next day I woke up and there was a track on my arm, and I was like ashamed. And I went to the drugstore and got some Clearasil and put a little dot on there so nobody would see it, because it was like I was ashamed.
Oh, man.
But I had broken that seal or whatever, I had done it. Nothing bad happened, and but I didn't do it again for quite some time till I moved back to St. Louis. And a bunch of my friends were shooting that drug and coke and meth and stuff. I tried heroin for the first time when I was down in Springfield, when I was going to college down there, and somebody's brother sent some China White in an envelope and said, only do a match head of this. And it was heroin.
How old were you?
It was probably 20. I was probably 20.
20, just 20.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 20 and 29 are a big difference.
Yeah, no, yeah, I was just 20. Yeah.
Okay.
And
wow.
And
I was thinking you were getting into your mid 20s.
No, this all happened in a very short period of time. And
was there a drinking age 21 back then?
Yeah. But it didn't matter.
No, I get that.
Illinois was 18, I think, at that time.
I'm just curious because I know it's fluctuated. So
yeah, it was 21. So I did that little match head of heroin, and threw up. Got really fucked up on it. It was real China White, I guess. And but I kind of liked it, But I didn't do that again.
Wild. Like you get real sick and puke your guts out.
Yeah, it is weird.
Think about
100% accurate on the first time you do heroin. Too.
Yeah.
It's basically everybody's story. Threw up a bunch.
Yeah.
I like it. Like, fuck.
But it was great. But I didn't do it again for a long time. And when I say a long time, I mean months. I'm not talking years.
Right. So we're tracking now.
Yeah. But I got kicked out of, to make a long story short, I got kicked out of SMS twice.
So you've gotten kicked out of Mizzou, Missouri State, now Missouri. It used to be Southwest
I didn't
Missouri
go to,
State.
Yeah.
But it's same school, right?
Yeah.
Southwest Missouri. And they changed about 10 years ago to Missouri State.
Yeah.
But you're going through the state colleges here. So now you're Rowell. No, I'm just kidding. Truman.
Yeah, I got kicked out a number of times. Yeah. I got kicked out of in Springfield though. Well, because I wasn't going to classes and stuff really, but I got kicked out because I had this pattern where in the spring I would leave and go to Jamaica during spring break. And I just wouldn't come back.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I'd miss finals and shit.
Hanging out at the nude beaches down at Hedo.
Yeah. No, it was
shout out to Iggy.
It was totally different back then. There was no hotels, and I was in the grill. There weren't hotels or anything like that. It was like you went down there. We'd drive to Miami, $90 to fly to Jamaica round trip. You'd go stay in a guest house in the grill with a Jamaican family in a little room with a kerosene lantern and a cot, basically. And it was like $2 a night. And then they would feed you for another $2. So they'd fix fish for you and stuff like that. And so you go down there and you're in this paradise with people with like young people from all over the world, and the Stones were, the Stones were just there the week before.
Really?
And at this little yacht club, they called it, the grass hut place, and chicks all over the place. And like you'd walk down the road to the beach, and there'd be a little fruit stand, and some little Jamaican kid would sell you Quaaludes, a couple of bananas and a Quaalude.
Nice.
It was like
package deal. Yeah.
And the weed was just like ungodly and stuff. So I fell in love with the place, and I went down there several times.
That sounds like it.
And I would just, I would really.
Have you been sober to Jamaica?
No.
Okay.
Never.
We were going every summer there for the last 3 years to, it's stupid. We would go to an all-inclusive, and I'm sober. My wife, she'll have some drinks, but she will say in Jamaica they actually pour you drinks. In Mexico, they're kind of watered down. The margarita's bullshit. But at the Jamaican resort, that dark rum, that she'd get a little fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And, but we had our kid with us, so I was trying to make sure he was taking too much melatonin so Daddy could play a little bit.
It's not. I haven't not been there, but it's just that I know it's so different now.
It's not what you're describing.
No.
Now, I will say this: the Jamaican people are the nicest fucking people I've ever met.
They were so great. I loved them.
Ashley's hardest time is she's a big social working liberal. Would have been it, although she's never done a drug in her life. She's kind of a dork too. But sorry,
is that your wife?
Yeah, God bless her.
Yeah, my wife's a social worker.
Oh,
too.
Nice, very nice. So, like when we were driving in the bus from Montego Bay to where we stayed in Ochos Rios. It was like an hour and a half. And you drive through some, what appears to us is very, very poor little, like people, they'll build half a house and that they'll run out of money. Like, it's good. We're good. It's paradise. We don't. Yeah. And that's just the way of life. Well, you know, we're driving through these very poor, seeing poverty on the way to a resort. That always fucking bothered her. So it bothered me too. It did, certainly. Not as much, but it's affecting me. Yeah, but they're the nicest people. But to what you're saying, it's a little bit. It's not like that.
It's touristy and stuff now, yeah. But I mean, and there were like, I had experiences down there that were like super spiritual or something. I don't know, with some Rastafarans, you know, and
wasn't the peyote.
No, no. I mean, it wasn't. It was weed. It was the weed. But,
is that good?
but it was like there was this place called Joseph's. Do you mind if I talk about this?
I love it.
Okay, there's this place called Joseph's Cave in the Grill, and you jump off of these cliffs into this just gorgeous water and swim up into this cave, right? And the light would just hit. It was just so beautiful. It is
now that stuff they have, that shit's down. I mean, that's gorgeous. The water is unfucking believable.
Yeah. So I'm one day I'm in there by myself. I was sitting in the cave and I'm just, kind of chilling out in there, and I feel you can feel somebody looking at you or whatever. I look up and there's this Rasta dude, with long dreads and
like Bob Marley looking guy.
Yeah, even more.
Nice.
And he's sitting up on this little ledge, up above me, and he's like, "Come here, man," and I go over there, and he grabs my hand and holds my hand and starts sharing this, big old spliff with me, and I'm just getting more and more fucked up, and he started talking to me about his spirit leaving his body and going across the world to meet Haile Selassie from Ethiopia, because that's like their savior or something like that. Just like tripping me out like crazy. But, I had several like experiences in the jungle with guys like that and stuff. So it was like this, I was always interested in that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Into like mystical things and stuff like that, So anyway, I got kicked out of college many times, and
didn't come back from spring break. Back to spring break turning into summer break.
Yeah, I mean, I was really very much like a Peter Pan type of guy. It was like the Lost Boy. I just thought I was going to be, able to just have fun all my life. Fun. It was all what it was all about. It didn't start getting real serious, till a little later. And when I moved back to St. Louis, I started hanging out with some of my buddies that were shooting drugs, and I started shooting drugs. A couple of my friends started doing heroin.
So I was going to ask, when you say shooting drugs, just the other stuff, not heroin.
Yeah, but then I started chipping away with some heroin. And it was like all the other drugs in my life. I shot heroin. I'd snorted heroin. And, they had it wasn't even just say no. It was there were such ridiculous, drug messages they tried to get through to you.
Way before DARE. Right?
Yeah. Way before DARE.
Didn't you wear a DARE shirt in your Vegas?
Vegas, yeah, but it was very much like you do this once and all these horrible things will happen to you instantly.
Exactly.
You do it once and nothing bad happens.
You're hooked.
Yeah, that backfires.
Yeah,
because your eyes didn't burn out when you looked at the fucking sun.
No, yeah. So, I had done heroin and I was fine. It wasn't like felt good. I didn't do it the next day. So it was like, I'm not hooked. The truth is I really was. Okay, I just wasn't hooked right then and there, but I was
daily using it.
But the experience made a big impact on me, and so I began, getting into heroin and other opiates, and my drug usage, shifted away from uppers and psychedelics and that stuff, more and more into drugs that would anesthetize you, and I think it had a lot to do with probably my biological makeup, having some ADD and anxiety and a little bit of social anxiety, but also at the same time, I was experiencing failure, and my parents were disappointed in me. And, when I lived in Springfield, I got 3 DUIs in 8 days.
Oh shit!
Just a little sidetrack.
Yeah, you fucking glossed over that.
Yeah, but they were actually under the influence of Seconal, which was a heavy duty barbiturate. And,
never even heard of it.
Yeah, and I rolled a Jeep in the middle of a busy intersection, went to jail, and about 4 or 5 days later, I'm driving at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, driving a friend of mine's car. He told me I could use it to go home. I just threw him out in his yard. He was passed out. I'm driving on a street. It's raining. I didn't have my lights on. A cop pulls up behind me. I look in the rearview mirror and I ran into a parked car. They charged me up to jail again. The next night I go out and I'm driving again under these things. I didn't really get caught driving that night, but the car stalled. And I went up to a house. I don't even know what time it was. It was night, and started pounding on the front door, asking them for a jump. And they called me. I called a cop, and they took me out. So all this shit happened to me. I was having bad stuff happen to me, right? And so it just in life, I started feeling kind of like. This is kind of fucked up. Your life's getting more and more and more fucked up, and I'm having to rationalize it. I'm having to lie to people, avoid people. Didn't like running into some of my old high school friends and that kind of stuff because they weren't like me. My group of people, I associated with began to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And it was made up mostly of people that were hustling every day to get money to buy dope.
Just an endless cycle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I lost countless jobs, relationships. It just started getting worse and worse and worse. And this went on for about, 4 or 5 years. And by this time, my parents knew what was going on. They were just, beside themselves. They didn't know what to do. They tried everything they could possibly try, threatening, pleading, begging.
What's your brother think? How close are you guys?
We're not that close. Okay. He was a support for me. He wanted to see me get better.
Sure.
But he was my little brother, and I was going to
ask the dynamic.
And
how young?
He's 4 years younger than me.
Were you senior freshman, or was you were out of high school when he was entering?
He was entering when I was getting out.
Got it.
So, it just was getting really bad. I knew I had an addiction. You can't be a heroin addict and not know you're a heroin addict.
Right.
You wake up I would wake up.
So you don't deny it internally to yourself when you at this point?
It's like almost more of a, Mike, if it's the same as me, it was more of a, you just accept this is what I am now.
Yeah.
I am a heroin addict. That's
right.
That's all I'll be type of
acceptance. We're probably the
that
denial.
Level of resoluteness makes me so sad.
But I still hung on to the idea that at some point something would happen and I'd change,
Okay.
And but I tried methadone, detox. I went down to the state hospital.
So you're still in your 20s?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was probably about.
What led you
now.
to the first attempt at a methadone detox?
Just everything I was saying. It was really a combination of the hustle it's just so
fucking exhausting,
fucked up. Like every day I would get up in the morning. I would usually take a couple of Valiums because I was also hooked on those. And I would, grab a cup of coffee, smoke a cigarette, and just start thinking about how I'm going to hustle some money up and get on the phone and start calling people. Hey, what's going on? Hey, anybody got anything? Blah, 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 blah. Just every
What were some of the ways you'd hustle for money?
I used to suck dicks. No, not really.
You never know. So.
I know, that's why I didn't.
These two were like, yeah.
Wait for the face.
I can tell by the way you said
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
that it wasn't multiple.
It just wasn't. It's not what I chose to do.
You didn't want it bad enough.
It was
No thumpers.
Yeah,
Got it.
Now you have to understand. Like I'm 73. I'm going to be 74 next month. They didn't have like a lot of electronic like banking and stuff going on. So I did a lot of check. What do they call it? Kiting or whatever. Where I'd go to an account and I'd write a check, and I'd then go to another account and I'd deposit a check that I knew was bad, but I swore to myself that I was going to make it good before it hit this other bank.
Yeah. It's beat the bank.
Yeah, I'd go to a little store like, what's the place over by us? Not
Freddy's.
Yeah. And I'd and I'd go in and I could, I had social skills. I could go in. I didn't like look like some like junkie. I would go in and I go, hey, oh God, you know what? Sorry for hitting.
You're fine.
Anyway, God, hey, you know what? I forgot to go to the bank, and I've got to go do blah blah blah. You think you could cash a check for me?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. You got ID? Yeah, sure. So I'd write a check for $50 or $100 or something, and I'd be out of there. So any of that, because I pawned stuff, I sold drugs, also. But it was just every day trying to figure this out. I mean, I don't know how you did it, but
suck dick. No, you wake up and your first thought's like, how am I going to get?
Yeah,
I did a lot more. I don't know, a lot of criminal activity.
Yeah,
like there was no.
Yeah,
barriers,
I did some,
but
I did like broke into a couple houses.
Some beanies,
we
return stuff to stores that you stole to try to get refunds back.
I don't want to be overly liberal here, but we laugh at. I mean, there's real fucking sexual trauma out there that people put themselves through, men and especially women, to feed this fucking hungry ghost, to use a Chazism, or Buddhist book on that shit. Like, and it's serious. I mean, that people will do anything to get high. If those check cashing schemes didn't work, God knows.
I would write checks, because the ATM, if you put a check in it, at least back then, not that old, but you put it in, like if you write for 500, it'll automatically give you 200, and like then they'll wait for it to clear to do the whole amount. So I would just do that, put one in, write a check to myself, deposit it at the ATM to cash it out, get $200 real quick.
We're very clever and devious.
Oh, you'll find ways to get money.
I got to the post dating checks when I was needing cash for bars and booze. When people started cutting me off, I'd write a post dated check because I was cool enough with the bar, and they'd be like, "Yeah, you're good for it. You're getting this paycheck that it'll clear." But I didn't. So I never. I think because of those relationships, I never had to write a bad check. It was just post dated. Right. Some friends of mine are like, "Yeah, I've taken a couple of your post dated checks, motherfucker."
Yeah, so it's just so tiring and embarrassing, and I had a lot of shame, a lot of guilt.
Yeah,
even though I looked like a sociopath, I acted like a sociopath. I was not a sociopath, And frankly, like you just mentioned, like, there are people that take advantage sexually of I think it's mostly males with females.
Sure.
But there's also a lot of predatory asshole dope dealers out there.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of,
I mean, just.
Yeah. The Venn diagram of, the dope dealer with a conscience and the dope dealer that's a scumbag is an overlapping on the ladder.
Right. I mean, I just knew people that were just horrible,
Right.
And so that whole game just got to be so tiring, but you couldn't do much about it.
Trapped.
And sometimes you wouldn't be able to get any, so I usually would drink. I would drink
just to not be as sick.
Yeah, just to sort of numb yourself to the sickness.
So at one point during this, rat race, you're like, I'm gonna go to a detox. I gotta do something. And your parents on board, or
yeah, it wasn't It wasn't an inpatient detox, though. It was a methadone detox.
Right. Okay.
Over at State Hospital, and when I did that, and I might, I don't mean to sound like better than or a special junkie, but it's like going to the State Hospital on Arsenal to the methadone clinic.
Yeah, there's a level of humility,
and
the
mass of people there. It's just like I felt like a scumbag.
Right.
And it was funny. That was actually the first place I was ever 12-stepped, though. I was the doctor there called me into his office, and he says, "Mike, how you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he told me his story, and he was from Arizona, and he had been addicted to opiates, ended up in the hospital, and a nurse in the program had come and 12-stepped him while he was in the hospital.
Explain that to what people that are listening don't understand what that means.
Well, had come and told her story to him and how she got clean, and and basically that was what it was.
Yeah. It's
yeah. And he started going to meetings, and he said, and I've been clean for so many years now. And I walked out of there, and I'm like, why the fuck did he tell me that shit? Really? It just went right over my head. I was like,
that's funny.
Okay, whatever. You're going to AA? I said, I'm not going to AA. Why would I go to AA? Anyway, so I didn't get it. But it stuck in my head. I went on methadone maintenance for a long time.
How long?
About a year.
That's every day?
Every day. You go to the methadone clinic, and, you have to kind of walk a gauntlet of, there was one on Sarah and Olive.
Yeah.
And it was just,
there used to be one in East St. Louis, but I think
there's still some around.
I know the one in Alton. We had Kelly on who still goes to that daily. And she said it's part of her own program. She likes to go and help the people that are going to Alton every day and she's kind of on a taper. She's been on it for 18 months.
Yeah.
Maybe a little longer.
Yeah. And it's really hard. It's hard to get off of methadone.
Right. We were talking about that. What did you say, Jacob? The half-life is, it's why it takes longer.
It takes longer, and the withdrawals last a lot longer.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
But let me ask you this. Back when you were at wasn't that the only option?
Yeah.
Back then?
Yeah, that was it. And, and plus...
Are there people on it for life?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sure. But you got nothing besides the methadone.
Right.
There was a counselor there that you'd have to see once a week or something to get your methadone.
How'd you pay for it?
You didn't have to pay for it.
Okay.
Yeah. And, he didn't know shit about addiction. He would, talk to you for 5 minutes or something and send you on your way. And I would actually do opiates on top of the methadone.
Oh, nice.
And other drugs.
So it wasn't
and drink. Yeah. And, it blocks it some, but still I would do it anyway. So it got to the point where at one point, I don't remember if I was 25, 26, something like that. Heroin dried up. Okay. And, there was almost no heroin around, but we started doing this drug called Dilaudid, which is a pharmaceutical heavy duty opiate pain medication. Okay. And they were everywhere. I don't know how, the government they probably did know, but there couldn't have been that many prescriptions for Dilaudid, legit prescriptions. But we started conning doctors for it, like I'd go to a doctor and I'd tell them I had this or that. And there were even people that would do stuff like tape like stones behind their kidneys and go in and get an x-ray. And just people trying anything to get a prescription.
That's a kidney stone. God.
But I went to the doctor and told him I was addicted to Dilaudid, and would he please detox me? And he didn't want to do it, but I actually, one time I had my dad go with me, and he said, I'll do it if your dad takes it. It takes the drug and doles it out to you, And
was your dad in on it, or did you use him as
I just used him. Yeah. I mean he thought he was helping me.
Right, but I mean the level of manipulation that you went to
it was unreal.
Pawn your dad off.
It was unreal. Scheme. That the day I did that, this is one of the things I've always been like, just I'm not ashamed of. But we're in the hospital. It was the old Deaconess Hospital, and we're downstairs in the lobby waiting for this doctor. Okay, and my dad looks at me and he goes, Mike, he goes, 26 years ago, I was the happiest, proudest man in the world because you were born right upstairs in this hospital. And
which hospital is this?
Deaconess Hospital. It used to be over on Hampton and 40. It's not there anymore.
Okay. Yeah, all right. I was wondering if it was the only.
And he's like, and now today I'm here because you're a fucking junkie. We're going to see a doctor, And I was like,
ouch.
It didn't stop me though, And anyway, I told the doc, I was doing maybe like 2, 3, 4 of these Dilaudids a day. They were $25 a piece. And I told the doctor I was doing like 20 a day.
That's accurate, yeah.
And so I walk out with this huge bottle of Dilaudid, and so that kind of stuff was just a daily routine, hustling, and it's degrading, it's work, it's a full-time job, it's just terrible. And I knew that I was going to end up in prison or I was going to end up dead. I knew I'd overdosed before.
Those are the two end games in this shit. And still to this day.
Yeah. And nobody told me that, I just knew it because
you're a bright guy.
I was starting to think about actually doing an armed robbery of a pharmacy.
God.
Yeah. And I knew that I'm not a hard guy. I'm not like a hard criminal. I did little petty crimes, but I would not do well. If the guy said no, I wouldn't shoot him. I'd just like, oh, okay. I'm sorry.
You're right. I don't have pocket aces. I'm fucked.
Or if I got arrested, I'd have to go to prison. And it was like, oh, okay. I knew. So I remembered that a guy that was in this, social circle, wasn't really social circle, it's junkie circle.
Social circle.
Yeah. Had gone away somewhere a year or so before and had never come back, to the group or the people. And supposedly, I heard through the grapevine, he was clean, And so I found out where he went to do that. And it was the old Edgewood, the Edgewood program. And the Edgewood program used to be up on McKibben Road, off a natural bridge, okay? And it was 2 houses connected, and it was run by a guy that had been recruited to come down to St. Louis from Hazelden. And it was a really tight, good treatment program.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went in there, and I went there with my parents, and they wanted me to come in that night. They had a bed. I refused to go because I said I had some really important shit to do.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. And I made a reservation for a month later. Okay, that was
sounds familiar.
That was a Tuesday night. On Thursday, I called them, and I said, I can't make it. I said, can you get me in? They said, well, come on in Monday morning. So at 9:00.
So your month turned into 6 days?
Yeah. So that Monday morning, this is what a freaking scammer I was, just pathetic. I go to my parents, okay, and I say, there's a big badass drug dealer after me. I got to pay him off before I go into this place, okay? He might come looking for me. What do you need? How much do you need? A couple $100. I take the money, go down to one of my connections down on West Pine, in a basement apartment in West Pine, an apartment that was in with all the wooden storage things. And I mean, this was like real, Lifetime television channel junkie apartment. And I copped some dope, did some dope, went back to my parents' house. And by this time, it was already after 9. They're freaking out. I get up to Edgewood, and they wouldn't take me. They said, you're supposed to be here at 9 o'clock, and it's 10 o'clock. And I was like, what do you mean you won't take me? I'm here. I wanted like a medal pinned on my chest just for showing
that
up.
Sounds so familiar, and I'm not even here every day.
Yeah, just for showing up. I was like, what do you mean? And they said, we told you to be here at 9, and we expect you to be a, responsible, predictable person when you come here. So they had, you and I, Jacob, were talking earlier about having boundaries, standards and expectations on people. And when you do that, they actually start acting that way.
So showing up.
Well, my parents, I think my parents probably talked them into, they did finally let me in. And they started me in, I was in detox for 6 days. My absolute bottom, like this weird thing happened to me.
This is at Edgewood?
Yeah.
Isn't Edgewood still around as a kid's?
Yeah, that's a totally different
because
thing.
They're by our.
That's different. Yeah, Edgewood was eventually bought by that program I went through was actually bought by Mercy Health System, and they built a big, beautiful treatment center and stuff. But
yeah, they did some. I first knew of them in the foster care stuff.
No, that's a different organization. Right. Yeah, but so anyway, so I wake up. I'm jonesing. They bring me down to the nurse station at 6:30 in the morning, and they give me a glass jar, and say, go in the bathroom. I'm in pajamas. They gave you, and fill it up. And I go in there, I'm shaking, and I fill it up with piss, and I dropped it, and it shattered glass and urine all over my feet. And I looked up, and I saw myself in the mirror, and I was just like. It was this epiphany, how the fuck did you ever end up like this, man? How did this ever happen? They had to come in and clean it up and all that stuff. And I was a extremely fortunate addict, okay, because all of the planets in my life lined up the way they needed to line up, okay? I desperately wanted help. I wanted to change. I didn't want to be like this. I knew that I could be a different person if I just figured out how, or if somebody would just help me. My parents were very supportive, and I went into a treatment program that was very good. Okay. And I took to it like a duck takes to water. They had me read the big book, which at the time I was kind of like, what's John Barleycorn? It's like, it was so archaic, the writing of it. But I took to the 12 steps. I knew I was powerless, and my life was so unmanageable. Where I stumbled was when we started getting into the spiritual part of the program, because I was a hippie. I was not religious. I was not spiritual. I didn't believe in much of anything, frankly. And but I knew step 1 applied to me, and luckily there was this priest there. Father Mike was his name, and he came in my room and he said, how you doing, Mike? And I'm like, I'm just not getting this second and third step stuff, I just don't know if I believe in any of this stuff. And he said, well, don't worry about it. He said, it's okay. A lot of us don't when we first come in here. But what he told me to do, he said, here's what I want you to do. He said, when I leave, I want you to get on your knees, and I want you to tell God that you're turning your will and your life over to his care. I'm like, but I don't even believe. I don't. What do you mean? He said, I don't care. He said, don't worry about that. He said, just do it. And he said, and then for the rest of the day, I want you to act as if you did that. And he said, then I want you to do it tomorrow. And I was like, oh, shit. Because I was very worried about becoming like a Jesus freak.
Yeah. Yeah, those fucking assholes.
Yeah. It was like, because, they were like the antithesis of what we were all about in
Sure.
college and stuff. But
there's still a lot of that going around.
Yeah,
I'm a Jesus freak, but what I call myself is I'm not this fucking Bible Belt and Christian super
right.
freak.
Yeah, I got nothing against Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
we,
with you. I agree with you.
We could talk all day about that aspect.
I'm
of it.
100% with you. There's so much bullshit out there.
Yeah. But I did it. I got on my knees. I said, God, I'm so fucked up. That's exactly what I said. I'm so fucked up. I don't know what to do, but I'm turning my will and my life over to you. Please help me. That's all I said.
To me, it sounds like somebody that is super not spiritual, doesn't know if he believes this in this moment, and that's how fucking desperate you are to make anything help you get clean and stay clean, that you'll get on your knees and pray to a God that you don't fucking know if you believe in or not.
Oh, exactly. That was exactly.
Because a priest told you to. I mean, that's desperation, man.
Yeah, exactly. And so I did it, and then I kind of waited. I was like, okay, so is a voice gonna, I gotta hear something, what's gonna happen? Is it gonna feel like a hit of heroin, just like this sense of peace come over me? Nothing happened. Okay. Nothing happened, except for I've been sober for 46
Nothing
years.
happened, but put that on a fucking T-shirt.
Yeah. But, and then the rest of the day, I remembered he said, act like it. And
I am curious about the second part because you mentioned that.
So, I went outside, it was a treatment center like this, and went outside and sat in a chair by myself. And I was like, what the hell did he mean by that? Act like I thought, okay, if there's a God, what does that being want of me? And I thought, well, wants me to probably pay attention to what's going on around here in this treatment center, wants me to participate, wants me to be honest, and wants me to be nice to people. I mean, that's all I could come up with. That was it. So I spent the rest of the day, I went to all my groups and I participated, and I was trying to be nice to people and not be dishonest. And it was that night was one of the first nights that I ever went to bed feeling okay about things, It was amazing. And I did it the next day.
The difference between that night and how you explained the first part of this rat race you were on, day after day of scamming, of using your old man, of going to doctors, of chasing this fucking thing.
Right.
I know that. I know what that feels like. That first night of just fucking surrender. And I hear you doing anything, listening to this priest and saying, I'll do anything, and I don't fucking know everything like I thought I did. I mean, there was times that I was in my 20s. We still, I think regular 20-year-olds think they know everything. But that's what I hear. It's incredible humility.
Yeah, addiction humbled me. Addiction knocked me to my fucking knees, man, literally. And they had us do a fourth and fifth step in treatment.
Did you say 46 years you've been sober?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the same.
I'm 41. I'm older than them.
Yeah. So I've been sober longer than you've been.
That's incredible. Like that is.
It's, people say that a lot. Okay. And it is.
It hits me.
It is.
It hits me.
Yeah. It is. It's miraculous. But I don't do anything different than you guys do. And I haven't I go to meetings. I have a little book, 24-hour book I have by my bedside. I use the steps. I meditate.
For a lifetime
every
plus
day.
5 for me every day. That's
and
active recovery.
It works, So
fucking tip my cap. I'm just incredible. I got a little bit in awe here.
I got out of treatment in 30 days. This is where my story takes a twist that's a little different than a lot of people, and why I believe I am such a lucky son of a bitch. But it was very weird, okay? So a few days before I got out of treatment, the clinical supervisor takes me outside and to go on a walk. He goes, come for a walk with me, Mike. He goes, hey, have you ever thought about getting in this field? And I'm like, no, you know.
Just trying to write checks.
I'm like, are you kidding? And he goes, well, we have a counselor training program, and we think you might be a good candidate for it, you know, and would you be interested in that? And I was like, you know, saying to myself, like, well, fuck yes. You know, I got nothing else to do. It was really like, okay, that would be cool. And so I signed up, you know, and I literally got out of treatment on a Tuesday, went home, got up the next morning, had a tie and a shirt on, and went to the treatment center to work as a counselor trainee.
What'd your parents think?
Oh, they were over the moon. I mean, they thought it was just the most amazing
thing. I'm picturing your dad telling you that at the hospital, what he told you about being 26. And
yeah. No, they were thrilled. They were still in denial about about what had happened even before those years before I became a heroin addict, though, because until the treatment center brought them in and they read my entire drug history to them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. With me sitting there. And
I need to add that to our family program.
I was just going to say, I was going to ask if we do something. That is fucking.
Isn't that a HIPAA violation nowadays?
No, you agree to it.
Nice you could see him slumping.
You were in the room and they did it?
Yeah, slumping into the chair. And I mean, it was like 20 pages long. It was huge.
And you wrote it?
Well, they interviewed me and asked me, when's the first time you smoked weed? How much did you smoke? How long did you smoke it for? You know, when's the first time you used it? I mean, just
from the stories you told in the pie, I bet that was a fucking book.
Oh, well, it was huge. And, but what it did, this light bulb came on for him. It was like, oh, this is why our son, who we had so many expectations for, never achieved any of them and has fucked up so much shit. Now we understand. So they finally understood, you know.
Yeah, it takes them to a different level of understanding. You're not just some guy that likes weed too much.
No. And so,
choosing,
Yeah. And so I think it was really kind of a relief to him in some ways.
Sure.
So now, and
I always say about my mom, because like very similar too, with like our stories are very like, that's why I became my idol, Mike. But
wait a second, I thought I was your.
I don't hurt your feelings today.
Where else can you tell a story like what I just told and somebody said,
You're my idol. They read this fucking encyclopedia for 2 hours to my parents about every drug under the sun that injected.
Right.
But that's how like when my mom found out about my drug use. Yeah. Right. Like she had like a really, because she's like, there's something wrong. We knew it.
Yeah.
We just didn't know what. And now we know the what, so it's
right.
Sure, they got the, like, you know, they're living in unknowns. Like Jacob was just, what the fuck's wrong with him?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to help too. With like parents feel fucking guilty. Like I'm the reason that they're doing this.
I made a joke to my mom like 6 months ago, just fucking with her. And I'm like, well, no wonder I'm a drug addict. We're just talking about her raising me, and she started crying. I'm like, oh fuck.
Oh,
funny. I'm kidding.
Fucking jack off.
The joke missed.
Your mom's such a it missed big time.
My parents were so happy and so proud of me. I can remember really early on, like 2-3 months into sobriety, going to my dad's office, and I'm waiting outside his office, and I hear him in there talking to some guy, you know, in the company out in California somewhere, telling him about like his son, and my son went through this program and now he's doing so good. But you know, he's just telling this guy out in California about it. You know, he was thrilled. So
that feels good
compared to the conversation you had, like that, just side by side, man.
Yeah,
that makes my fucking hair stand up on my arms.
Yeah, and so. You know, I mean, we don't have enough time to talk about 46 years of sobriety. I wouldn't
all
imagine.
Day, baby. We're fucking, it's your program. So how old were you when you checked into this?
27.
27. Mm-hmm. And you've been sober ever since?
Yeah. I've had 0 relapses. So
I've been noticing your tattoo, by the way.
Yeah,
that's pretty baller.
Yeah,
that's
46.
Yeah,
I get one every year. So.
That's awesome.
Hopefully, but
I didn't see that one because of.
I hope I don't relapse, man. Yeah. I'm gonna have me stuck with people. Right. Going, what's that? That's nothing.
You should just copy that.
I mean, mean, whatever works. That's So you started working at Edgewood.
Yeah, and I worked there. The counselor training program was a year-long program. It was an excellent program. It was very intense. You worked 6 days a week. You actually worked, and you had lots of classes. You had to read lots of books. You had a lot of these kind of seminars with the director of the program who had worked at Hazelden for years. And I mean, it really, really was good, and it gave me a foundation, that I used throughout my entire career, basically. Then they hired me as a counselor, so I was a counselor at Edgewood. I worked there for a few years as a counselor, and they opened up they were opening up a new treatment program down in Mississippi, in Vicksburg, Mississippi, the Mercy Hospital down there. And me and a couple other people applied for the job as the director there, and I ended up getting the job. And I was literally like 4 or 5 years sober.
I was about to ask how long.
And I'm the director of a 40-bed treatment program in Vicksburg, Mississippi. It was, yeah.
He really is your idol,
right?
It was a weird experience. I mean, I was really anxious about it all, and it was a strange place to live. Believe me.
How is it? Deep South, Vicksburg?
It's as deep south as you can.
It sounds like
it's on the Mississippi River. That's where there's a huge military park there.
Fucking crawdads and shit.
Oh God, yeah.
Love crawdad.
Yeah, it was a great experience though, and it started me, on this path to running treatment centers.
Yeah.
And I did that for a couple of years, and then moved back to St. Louis. And worked for a company called Carpenter Healthcare, which isn't in existence anymore, but they had a program at St. Joe's in St. Charles.
Okay.
They had one at Deaconess Hospital. They had one at DePaul Hospital, and then they had one up in Baraboo, Wisconsin. So it was like this treatment company, and a guy I knew ran it, and I was their director of operations. I worked for them. And then I started my own company called Recovery Resource Center. And me and another guy, it was one of the first outpatient programs in the St. Louis area.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
When was this?
When the hell would it have been? About 1987.
Wow.
Something like that. And
so like in the 80s, you hear about was it the crack epidemic in New York and shit? And but that came here. I mean, crack was, you always hear about, did you experience, because you don't hear about like crack anymore the way that you lived through those decades, right? I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, I was sober through those decades.
Yeah. But did you see it?
Yeah. Oh God, it was crazy. But it was more in around 90, 91.
It took over like black poverty, right?
Whole
like
communities. Yeah.
And it's still that's what. Unfortunately, the most I know about is just from like being a rap fan and listening to lyrics about it, but it's real life shit.
Yeah.
And you see the aftermath of the crack epidemic. But and the reason I ask is, when we talk about fentanyl the same way, like it's a fentanyl epidemic we're in.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that compared to because you've had the experience of living through what is that crack epidemic or a heroin epidemic? And now it really is a fentanyl epidemic.
Yeah, it's frightening. I'm really glad I'm sober. I can tell you that. I'd be dead.
Right.
There's no two ways about it. I'd be dead. And from what I undernd, I don't keep my finger on the pulse of everything.
Are you retired?
I'm retired.
Okay. How long have you been retired?
I do a one evening family program at the aviary. But other than that, I'm retired. I just do that for fun. And
I'm just kidding.
It is frightening, because evidently it's mixed in with a lot of other stuff nowadays too.
We say it all the time. We get it, and Jakob was telling me that people will come in and not list off heroin or fentanyl as a drug that they do, but they're popping positive for that and the animal tranquilizer.
Yeah. I don't even know. Is there even hardly any heroin around anymore?
Heroin's like not even a drug. Like, people don't even call it heroin anymore.
Yeah.
Because like when I got clean, which was like a bit over like 8.5 years ago, it was like right when fentanyl was hitting the streets.
Yeah.
And like you don't want it. Like I don't want fentanyl. I want heroin. And then they would just always call it heroin. Then a couple of years in, it was still everybody just called it heroin. Then just switched. Nobody, just fentanyl.
Yeah.
Eric said it. We've given tours, and he's like, we're at the point now where we wish we could go back to the days of just black tar heroin.
Yeah,
because you know how to treat it better. The detox drugs worked better on it. Now it's a cat and mouse game on what. Like the timing that you administer detox drugs because it can fuck you up.
Yeah. And overdose drugs, like it's like people can be, nowadays they're giving them like 2, 3, 4 hits of
it's not just
and stuff, it's frightening. And it's, people want to blame it on Mexico, but if there
people
wasn't
want to blame everything on anything,
if there wasn't a demand,
right,
they wouldn't be making it. It's
human nature. We want to always blame something.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's probably a lot of it's being shipped over from Mexico.
Sure.
But I don't know. I don't work for the DEA, but but still, the United States. Our demand for substances is so great, greater than the entire rest of the world. They
fucking drone drop them into prison yards.
Yeah.
So if you can get over a border, if the demand is there, if the demand's in a prison, you're going to bribe some guard or you're going to bribe a family member to fly a drone and drop.
Right.
I was visiting with the warden of Bonne Terre prison. That's where that's where they have the execution chamber in the state of Missouri. So it's fucking.
One of your hobbies?
No, it was for a work thing. I was a pen pal. He was a female prison. I was meeting one of my pen pals. No, but he was saying that there a couple of years ago in a month of October alone, there were 5 OD deaths in the prison.
Yeah.
In 1 month.
Wow.
And we're like, how the fuck is this happening? He goes, I know it's a naive question. He goes, remember what I told you? We're 200 guards down, staffing. Nobody wants this fucking job.
Right.
And it was COVID, coming out of COVID. And he's like, we're 200 guards down. And then staff brings it in, or we catch drones dropping this shit in.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's dangerous on the first. Then his COs go in and they get fucking sick and fucked up when they go into somebody's overdosing on fentanyl because they get exposed to it. That happened at the fucking titty bar in Washington Park at Roxy's. So it closed down. Fucking ruined the shower dance for everybody because there was a fentanyl outbreak. 3 strippers died and a couple of EMTs got fucking almost killed or maybe lost their life.
Oh God.
Bring back heroin.
Shit. Give me my fucking shower dance.
Right, yeah, that says that. Yeah.
Bring heroin back again.
we could get our showers back.
Never went to that.
You didn't?
No, never saw that.
Sucks to be. Nah, I just heard it was a great time. I've never been. So
your fiance was there doing it.
Ex fucker. So 46 years of just fucking fighting this disease.
Not really. I don't look at it as fighting it. I really don't.
I don't mean your recovery. I mean helping people. I mean that type. Yeah, I don't mean.
I'll just wait for.
Yeah, I don't mean you're fucking sitting there white knuckling and fighting the cravings.
But a lot of people think that. A lot of non-recovering people think that that's what you're doing. It's like you're fighting it, and it's not at all.
No,
it's
fighting
opposite,
back and helping people like on the front lines of
and it's
treatment.
It's such a blessing to have been able to I spent 46 years working in one way or another in this field. And it's like, who gets to do that? Who gets to sober up from addiction and spend the next 46 years as in a career helping people and getting to hang out with other recovering people. It's not all,
I'm not working in it yet. I've always been adjacent to it, whether I was helping out in the church I was going to with, I was vulnerable or just had the big mouth, probably a little bit of both. So the pastors knew if there was somebody fucked up, send them to Pond Off and he'll talk to them. I did the podcast with Jeff back in 2020, always helping people get to Sauna Lake where Eric was working. And, I grew up with him and Nick Boatman, who had a place. and I just felt this fire inside me that, you said it earlier, and I really fucking identified with it. Every day of my life, I feel like I'm one of the luckiest motherfuckers alive because I haven't, knock on wood, yet had a relapse. I've been sober 11 and a half years, and I feel this, when that happens and you feel that lucky, like I know I can't just hold on to this. I got to figure out how to reach my hand back and help people. It's like, I think to me, it's a grace thing. You get like undeserved from God, and you just got to help people. And so doing the podcast again and being involved at IRC and maybe starting up this church shit is I like have, it's the most life-giving part of my week is doing this shit. So yeah, I feel you when you get out and you dive right into it, and it's your life is recovery, and it's a blessing.
It was hard for me when I retired, okay, because I went one day doing this for 45 years, and then the next day nothing.
Where'd you retire from?
Bridgeway, preferred Bridgeway.
Time, right?
Yeah, when they took us over. And
what year? Recently?
It was like, shit, I don't even know, 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
Like that. I was.
You just put your pen down and had a retirement, huh?
Our company got bought out by a much bigger company.
Sure.
And I had a 3-year contract, and I knew that at the end of the 3 years, I wasn't going to sign back up again. So
I worked at Bridgeway.
Yeah.
When that happened.
Yeah, that's where we knew each other from. Yeah.
So that's like right when I started, doing some counseling work.
Yeah. So, so much of my identity was treatment oriented, not just recovery, but treatment oriented. And all of a sudden, it was gone. And then COVID hit and stuff. So it was kind of a rough.
Sure.
It was a rough time a little bit. Recovery, of course, keeps you together, though. And then I got a call from Ron Rice, at the Aviary. He runs an outpatient program, and he used to work for me, and he said, "Hey, would you be interested in, running a family group on Wednesday nights?" And I thought, because I had gotten through to the point where it was like I was kind of cool with being out of the treatment.
They pull you back in,
and I said, "Yeah, I'll
you
do
like
that."
Went through the stages of grief.
Yeah, right.
Like ready to just.
But I said, yeah, I will do that. Yeah, I think that might be fun. So I do it on Wednesday nights, and it's cool. Families are so
out there
desperate for help.
I'm telling you,
and it's in Kirkwood.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Yeah, they're outpatients in Kirkwood.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I knew that. I should know that because that's important. I mean, the family. It's huge. It's what I say separates. When people ask, like, what makes IRC different? I'd say it's our family program.
Yeah. You got to have family involved.
Because we always talk about, it's like what me and Kevin Button talk hours and hours on is like, when an addict goes to treatment, they get fixed. I don't use that word loosely, but you start healing all their wounds and get them started. But then you got a family that's still suffering and hasn't done anything in 30 days.
Right.
And now you're putting that addict back into this really broken system, and they're going to use, or something bad's going to happen. So you got to heal. I call it our system approach.
Yeah.
Try to heal the addict systems out there while they're with us. That gives you the best chance. Like, how do you plan on being in recovery and your family's not being treated as well?
And there's research that shows that people that have families that get involved have higher rate of recovery, but it's not just I try to not just focus on the addict, because the families are hurting so bad and have if you delve into a lot of their histories, so many of them grew up in alcoholic homes, and they've just been through so much, and they don't know what to do. So
do you do any ACA stuff
at the family program?
No, or have you been to any ACA meetings?
I had a long time ago I did, but I didn't grow up in an alcoholic family, and so I really don't.
Okay,
I don't identify that much with it, but
that's the same answer I gave him when he asked me if I went to ACA. So
I've had a good heart on for it. I want to offer it. So when we opened this church deal, I was telling you about earlier, and still kind of confidential, but not, because again, if I know, I got a big mouth.
You've been talking about it every episode.
we want to have, it's got similar to Celebrate. We want to offer small groups after the service.
Yeah.
And one of them, I want to have an ACA for families and pretty much what the guy I know that's a big ACA guy says it's for anybody because it's children of alcoholics and dysfunctional families, which kind of can apply to just about anybody. Except for Jakob, of course. But I think having options in this community for families, you know, is huge. And I've learned that from here, and hearing you say it, I mean, puts a fucking stamp on that.
Well, I've got 2 kids. I have 4 kids altogether, but 2 of them are in recovery. And so I've been through it
interesting.
I've been through it, you know, from that aspect also.
We haven't even touched on that.
I've been married 3 times.
Okay.
All in recovery, all while I was in recovery.
Yeah.
My first wife I met in treatment. Didn't go out with her for a year, okay, because you know we weren't allowed to and stuff like that. But she ended up relapsing.
While you were married?
No, right after we split up, okay? But she wasn't working a program. She didn't go to meetings. She, you know, and it was one of the things that, you know, I'd try to control her, tell her what she ought to do. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do that. And it was like, yeah, fuck you. Don't tell me what to do. You know, it was. But anyway, and then I got married. I was married again to somebody that was in recovery. From Belleville, as a matter of fact.
Oh yeah, probably know her.
That I worked. She's older than you, but
doesn't. You know.
But she ended up. She was a stripper.
Hey, we might be. What do they call that? We might be like blood brothers.
But I mean, it's a really tragic. I mean, what happened was we had a little boy, and I already had 3 little girls.
So with the first marriage,
first marriage was 3 girls, and the second marriage I had a boy. And my wife was just a smart master's degree, vivacious, beautiful person. And, but she didn't go to meetings. She danced around different kinds of practices, you know, I don't know, you know, stuff, bullshit to me, but anyway. Yeah, but anyway,
she's still in the cave in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Peace pipe.
But she was sober, but then, literally, all of a sudden, I came home one night, and she tells me she's been drinking, and she's leaving, and what happened was she had a major bipolar episode, which we didn't even know she had. Okay, and I think it was brought on by switching her medication. She was on a antidepressant, but I don't know. I really don't know. She went completely off the fucking deep end, drinking, smoking crack, which she had never done before. Ended up like on the streets down in Texas. I had gone over and grabbed my son. You know, I actually had custody of all 4 of my kids. She ended up having a stroke and is in a skilled nursing facility, has been for 15 years and will be for the rest of her life. She's just fried.
God, that's horrible.
It was very horrible. I mean, she was just a really cool person, you know? But and I'm only saying this to say that, you know, I've been involved in a lot of the family issues.
Sure.
I've been to Al-Anon. I've had to work those principles. But also that I want to point out because life happens.
I was just thinking that, man.
You know, and bad shit happens in recovery. And you can get through anything. And there is no excuse as far as I'm concerned. You know, we were taught that there are no good excuses for relapse.
So remember the first thing somebody told me when I got to the rooms was, said all the reasons to get high are on the very last page of the basic text NA book. So fucking I'm going to the car, get my book real quick, open it up. It's just a blank page. You know?
Nice. You fell for it?
Yeah. Got all excited when I got home to look it up.
Yeah. I mean, and you can get through anything, you know, if you are working your program and staying sober.
Yeah. I mean, because that's what I was thinking the whole time you were talking about, you know, there's fucking hills and valleys, man, and not it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
No.
I've told people that, and you know, you can deal with adversity, and really, it builds you up.
Yeah. You get through it, you know?
Yeah, so that's what like recovery programs teach. I was talking to I think our alumni coordinator this morning about it. Was like life, you get clean, then you're gonna have a valley.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that valley, there's gonna be another one.
Yeah.
But if you're working a program, now you got a navigator, and
Right.
you start getting confidence. Like, well, I made it to that last valley.
Mm-hmm.
Why can I not get through this one? You learn how to navigate
tools,
good.
a team, right? Community.
Yeah, it doesn't make life perfect, but it teaches you how to get through life and be okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll tell you, I mean, you want to talk about doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on the hard times. That's when you try to get through it using. I mean, you want to talk about adding gasoline to what you're putting out a fire at home, and it's just not possible. It does not. It only makes shit fucking way worse.
Right.
I do want to throw out there though, because at least in my recovery, like during my hard times in recovery, because I've had some we all have like some shit times. Like that was probably the best my recovery was. It's when life is really fucking great. Is when I start
interesting.
My recovery starts.
You get complacent.
Yeah, like life's great. I don't need to go to this meeting this night or this week. I can skip this or skip that, and that's where my recovery starts. Start getting mentally.
That's the cunning, baffling part.
So it's like it's the top of the valleys where I
need to focus
harder.
To me, complacency is probably the number one enemy of recovery.
That's what I always
They talk about in the big book a lot about resentment, you know.
Right.
But to me,
complacency. Now we share
complacency
as
kills.
Addicts. We don't have the luxury to be content. Like we don't have that luxury in life anymore.
I tried.
It also turns us to superheroes, in my opinion, because we have to keep striving to get better and working on stuff. But
I about 3 years in, I was working at Edgewood as a counselor, you know, and I had I got married, I had a kid, I got a new job, all this good stuff happening. And at the same time, I was, teaching 12-step stuff, lecturing on it. I knew all this stuff up here. Yeah. And I started to back off. I don't have time for that. I got to be home for the kid. I got to do that, and started missing meetings, wasn't reading the book, wasn't praying much, and what happened is at the same time, my anxiety level started going up and up and up and up and up to the point where it was like, I felt like I was going to explode sometimes. And I began to think that this program wasn't working anymore, that sobriety wasn't working anymore. And I started thinking,
God, that's a scary enemy to creep in.
It creeped in, and I started thinking like, maybe you just need a little something to, to take care of your nerves. And luckily, once again, fortune for me, my boss at the time was an old AA guy. Rocky was his name. His sister was this was at Edgewood. His sister was the chairman of the Sisters of Mercy, but he worked at Edgewood. He was an older guy, and he called me up. I took a day off because I felt so jammed up. I took a day off from work, and he said, "Mike, you okay?" I go, "Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, sure." He goes, "I want you to come in," and I go, "I'm off today." He goes, "I don't care. I want you to come in anyway. I want to talk to you."
That's ballsy. Can't do that to today's workforce.
It freaked me out. And so I go in, and I hadn't used. But I went in, and he goes, "How you doing, Mike?" And I go, "I'm good. I'm fine. Yeah, I'm all right." He goes, "You seem a little stressed out or something." He said, "You go into meetings?" I'm like, "Well, I'm not going as much as I used to. I don't go as often as I used to." And he knew enough to be specific. And he said, "When's the last time you went, Mike?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It was a while ago." I'm trying to dodge, right. And he's like, "When?" And I said, "It's probably been 4 or 5 months." He goes, "Okay." Because you reading your big book, you doing, "Well, Rocky, I've read the big book a bunch of times, I know. I don't." Okay, so you're not doing that.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, "Look, Mike," he goes, "I want you to come in and talk to Lyle with me." And Lyle was the director of the program, another guy from Hazelden, a 25-year sober guy or something. And the two of them start putting me through the fucking ringer.
God damn.
And they said, you're on a dry drunk, Mike. You are on a dry drunk. Okay. You're not working your program. You're not doing what the rest of the people, what everybody, you're telling everybody else to do. You need to get your shit together. We can see it in you. And I was like, oh.
This is real important. I'm glad you're telling this story.
It was like this veil was lifted off of my eyes, you know, and I could finally see what the hell was wrong with me, why I felt so fucked up for the last several months, you know. And that night I went back home, got on my knees again. Still not sure who the fuck I'm talking to, but I got on my knees.
Nothing happened, but I'm 46 years sober.
Yeah,
That's the fucking greatest quote.
And I started, you know, going back to meetings regular, talking about what had happened to me. And I dodged a bullet is what happened. I dodged a freaking bullet. And within 2 weeks, back in recovery again, you know. But man, I learned a valuable lesson in that. And that is like, you can't get complacent.
That's so good to hear. It's so important to hear.
I think that's like one. I think it's normal because usually a lot like in the rooms and just recover that 3-year mark of complacency too. I had something similar happen where like it's right when I started working in treatment as a counselor.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to meetings that much. You know, I'm thinking my recovery is, well, I help these people. I live recovery all day.
Right.
It's when I really had to like separate my brain too, where I get a lot from like non-treatment working people like, well, you do it all day. Like that's not my recovery.
Right.
Because I remember I got complacent. I was moody, you know, mental shit's kicking in. And it was actually Ron that gave me advice. I was talking to Ron, I asked Ron about it. Like I'm doing all this for my recovery, but I'm like, my life feels like it sucks right now. He's like, well, you're not doing nothing for your recovery. So he gave me like the assignment of like, whenever I gave a client an assignment to do, I should go home and do it.
Really?
Then it'll become my recovery.
Oh,
You know? And that's what I started doing. Like, you know, I tell somebody, go home and do it. You're being ungrateful. Do a gratitude list tonight. Bring it in tomorrow.
Yeah.
I would go home and make one for myself. Or
that's cool.
You know, read this chapter out of the book. I'll go home and do it myself.
Who pushed you to do that, or did you?
Ron.
Yeah.
He mentioned him earlier, but Ron was the guy that hired me for my first job.
Yeah.
So, and that's when I started like, okay, got to keep it separate. And that's how I work on myself.
Like the big moments you guys have mentioned between these last two and the first time you listened to this priest, you know, there's something that connects with me. And when I'm coming in here on Saturday nights and doing church, and because this had to happen to me, that like whole surrender is basically like shut the fuck up and use the 2 years that God gave you and listen. Like you listened and you listened now twice, and said, I don't, and like, it's not me being an asshole. It's relieve yourself of the burden of fucking knowing it all. Like
that's the biggest gift ever. It's when you finally,
it's like liberating.
Oh yeah.
You're like, fuck it. I can't. And those moments have happened profoundly in the stories you've told tonight, what you just said, and I identify with it. And it's like a complete surrender and willingness to listen and try anything that this person says, you know, oh, fuck, I don't believe in God. Fuck that shit. But you're on your knees praying, or, you know, you don't listen to fucking anybody or anything with all the opinions you got sputtering out of your mouth. But this Ron tells you, go home and do this. And you're like, I got to fucking do it. And
well, that's one thing.
You
like,
did it.
I teach it to the clients, I teach it to all my sponsors. Like recovery, in my opinion, it's just action.
Yeah.
Like I don't care what you believe in. I don't care if you believe in what you're doing. It don't matter.
The guy gave Mike 2. He said, get on your knees and pray that you did the same prayer, and then act like it. Right. 2 things.
Right. That's what recovery. Because I remember,
and you did it.
Yeah,
you did both things
exactly.
Yeah, there's like 2 big moments. Like one of them was like the first assignment my sponsor gives me is like to read the basic text, and he gave me 30 days to do it. He gives me like a time frame. Read this in 30 days, and I'll sponsor you. Type of rules. And then we get to like day 30. It's like only 109 pages. There's not much the first part of the basic text. And he's like, do you get it done? I'm like, no, I'm on page 46, man. I'm like, I've read every day. I'm on page 46. He's like, how the fuck are you only on page 46? You've been reading for 30 days. I talk to you every day. You tell me you're reading. I'm like, well, I have to keep rereading it. I'm trying to learn. I don't understand this shit. It's hard. It's weird.
Did you tell me you have a little mental disability?
Yeah, they don't give a fuck. They said, get over it. Read more.
No, there it is. There it is, right there.
When I write step 1, I said, I'm dyslexic and I'm like, my brain's not healed. I can't write. I can't read it. He goes, I don't care. Write it. Write it twice is actually what he made me do. But
peeling back the onion, I tell him Jakob is the way he is.
So I tell him like, you know, I'm trying to understand it. I'm learning. I'm taking notes. Like, I'll show you all the what I'm thinking about. He goes, who the fuck told you to understand it? I just told you to read the book.
Yeah, you've told that. That's right.
And that's recovery though. He's like, you don't need to understand it. Yeah. You don't need to even trust it. Just do it. And then it works out. All that stuff comes later.
Right. You just do it. You end up 46 years sober. Yeah.
That same priest, by the way, he listened to my 5th step when I was in treatment, and he prepped me for the 4th step, you know. And he's like, look, Mike, he says, I want you to, and he gave me this guide to use. He said, I know you've got a lot of guilt, a lot of shame. I want you to write down every way you violated your values, your morals, every way you hurt other people, da-da-da-da-da. And I said, my whole life? He goes, yeah. He says, look, I don't care if you fuck the family dog.
This is a priest.
And I was like, how the hell did you know that?
That's funny, man.
Yeah. That was really coming from a priest.
I love it. Yeah. That's the 4th step.
Yeah.
Is that would be, yeah. I didn't, but the 12 steps haven't been, I have a program that if I'm thinking about the things as you're talking about your program. If I started missing meetings, if I started missing these routines of mine, I would be a fucking shit spiral. It would spiral out of control. Ashley would know it. Fucking Charlie would know it. My mother, would be, oh, you didn't go to church? Why not? You didn't do what, you know, if something, I went left and I was supposed to go right, you're not. It mind fucks me bad. And that anxiety creeps up. I could feel it as you were talking about it. But yeah, that would be, I'd be writing for a long time. I don't care if you fucked the family dog. That's funny. You didn't, did you?
Hey, that's not for you to know.
Yeah. 5th step, man.
Right. So retired, just helping out now at Aviary with some family programs. And that's on Wednesday nights?
Yeah.
Fuck.
And I have a antique booth down at the Hill Antique Market, and
really
that keeps me busy. Yeah, I go around and go to auctions and sales and shit and buy weird antiques.
Fucking flea markets and stuff.
Yeah. I went up to Wisconsin last weekend to a big, huge antique flea market thing, and bought some shit and brought it back, and that's really.
I used to love to go yard sailing, but I'd be all liquored up doing that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
So you have your own brick and mortar?
No, I just have a booth.
Oh, booth
at the Hill. It's called the Hill Antique Market. There's 150 booths there.
How once a month or once a week?
No, it's an antique mall, so it's there all the time.
So you work it?
I just have I rent space.
It's just like little cubbies almost.
Yeah,
spots.
Mine's about twice as big as this room.
And they got workers there that sell the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So you just go out and buy the stuff, price it, put it in.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Nice. How long you been doing that?
About 4 years now, something like that. Yeah.
4?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fun.
Yeah, I just bought a Jeep Gladiator too.
I'm down on the hill.
I just bought a Jeep Gladiator, and I'm like, hey, look at my Jeep Gladiator, Jakob. And he pulls out his phone and he shows me
my beer.
He's
can I say that?
3 of them freaking, who is that? You and Eric and
Brian. Yeah.
Yeah. All have like these massive tricked out Jeep Gladiators, mine's sitting out there like right off the parking lot.
When you got 3 inches, you got to need a Jeep like that.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Overcompensating. No, they are pretty sick, but that was kind of rude of him to do that to you. So I apologize.
I had to show him up Subway. That's
your mentor. That's how you treat your fucking mentor.
I'm going out to Moab in mid-September.
That's a desert, right?
Yeah, to southern Utah. And mountains.
Yeah. Utah?
Yeah.
When you going?
mid-September, something like that.
With people or
My wife.
You see, we didn't talk about your third wife. We talked about the first two.
Well, my third wife, I've been married 26 years now.
Okay.
She's not in recovery.
All right. So you zigged instead of zagged.
I finally learned.
I got it.
She is a social worker, though.
Oh, okay. Good. God.
And
we need to start a support group.
Yeah, exactly. But she's awesome. She really is. She's been like such a great support.
What has her work been in?
Social work. She works in hospitals.
Okay.
Right now she runs the stabilization program at Alton Memorial, the detox program, and she runs this program called Warm Handoff, which is really cool. Where what she's done is I really admire her for it. She has changed the culture of an entire hospital over the last 3 or 4 years to the point where every patient that comes in is screened for a history of substance abuse.
Really?
And no matter what they came in for, you come in for a heart attack, or they look at their charts.
This is
and they ask
specifically at Alton Memorial?
Our Memorial. And then she has peers that will go and talk to the people who are in the hospital and try to connect up with them, get them some help. A lot of them end up in detox, and then they follow them when they get out. So it's kind of go. They refer people to treatment, like here and stuff.
Who's calling on Alton Memorial?
Not Chris, somebody else, a woman.
No,
female.
it's probably good. Yeah,
it's Megan.
Yeah. So
Megan's a sweetheart.
My mother's the a director at Gateway Hospital in Granite.
Oh yeah.
So we've tried to butter her. It's a tough hospital.
Yeah.
But I wonder. Yeah. So she been at Alton. How long has she been at Alton?
Oh gosh, she's been there for a good 8, 9, 10
It's a long time. Okay.
Yeah. She actually started out running a program called Senior Renewal. It was like a psychiatric program for seniors.
Oh God, she's
yeah.
So she's an angel, man.
Yeah, she's awesome. But when your marketer goes there, have her make an appointment before she goes.
Okay, I'll tell her. I'll text her right.
I miss it.
Yeah.
Walk in the freaking place
with scrubs on or something.
Yeah, just walk in and start just walk in their office, and they're like, they got fucking work to do and shit. Right, yeah. You know? So
did you noted? Yeah.
Actually, we're really good at making sure we do that because you hear those horror stories in the field. Like people that just pop in. We do pop-ins, but it's more of like, hey, here's cookies.
Yeah.
See you guys. And walk out. You know?
That's fine. They actually banned from the hospital.
Listen, I
hope we might have beat some of this out.
Nobody got time for cold calls, man, and receiving them. People are fucking busy.
Everybody's busy. Yeah. But she's awesome. You know, she's raised my kids with me. She's a huge supporter of people who are in recovery.
Sure.
So, yeah, it's cool.
She from around here? Grew up?
No, she's actually from Illinois. She grew up outside of Chicago, Aurora, Illinois.
Okay.
You know where Wayne's World is?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Stan Makita's Donuts.
That's so you guys have been married for a long time then.
Yeah, been married pretty long.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you have 2 kids in recovery? That's doing well?
Yeah.
Great.
Both of them are doing good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I can see why you're Jakob's mentor. Is there room for? Can you be my mentor too?
Get out of here.
You can't boss my mentors. You can't pick.
There's plenty of room. The's plenty of me for everybody.
Come sit at the feet.
Maybe I should start the church.
It's on Wednesday nights, and you're at the aviary. Maybe you could bring your group to. Do you need a place to meet?
No, we haven't. It's not very often that you meet somebody that says, "Yeah, I'm starting a church." Right.
Well, I got
I'm starting a pizza place, or I'm starting a toy store.
Selling Jesus, I'm slice of Jesus.
Yeah, I'm getting in on that Jesus action.
Right, tax free.
Save my fucking life. Yeah, the miracle is the impossible becoming possible.
Yeah,
I think all of us. Jeff somewhere. No, there's plenty of evidence in his life, but and to keep up with the theme, you start with his wife, him being with her. That's the impossible of the impossible. Even though she's in the doghouse tonight. So can people, I mean, do you take, people reach out to you? Are you on social media? Not to age you a little bit. Do you know how to take,
yeah.
Do you have a flip?
Do you know how to?
Do you still have a flip phone or?
Yeah, I have a wall phone. Yeah, I have an Apple 16.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook and Instagram.
Can people reach out if they got questions, or I mean, do you
I don't care.
Do you feel that I know people hear this and, well, I know you're retired. I want to respect that, but are you ever really retired from connecting dots?
Not really. I mean, it's, I think it's like some kind of spiritual axiom or something that if you're in recovery, the opportunities to be of service are always going to come to you. You know, they're just going to come, whether it's a professional way or whether it's just a private way. They're just gonna.
To the complacency part, I can't imagine a life of like retiring from service. I'm just done helping.
Right. Yeah.
I may want to play a little bit more golf, but I'll still answer the fucking phone.
Oh yeah, sure.
And
Absolutely.
be bad with boundaries. Jacob says I'm bad with boundaries, and I can't tell people no. So I guess
he
I'm
has a
doomed.
problem saying no. It's
Fucking,
issue.
I'm fucking doomed. I'm really grateful for you and getting to know you and coming all the way out here from Oakland to be on the podcast.
I appreciate you guys having me. It was really fun. It was.
And I want you to stick around. So I appreciate. The family program you run, is it an open group, or do you have to be? It's an outpatient program of the aviary.
It is, but it's not like there's no fees for it or anything like that. They just recommend family members to come to it. And what I found is that I guess people in the community know about it or something, because they'll just show up and I'll go, well, who do you have in treatment? And they'll say nobody, And I go, well, how'd you end up here? Well, my therapist told me that I should come here. She knew about it. So I guess they just let anybody in there.
I just show up and teach it.
I mean, there's something that that's I think good.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm seeking help, and my guess would be that person's got someone that they want to be in recovery so bad.
Yeah,
and the prayer is that that person wants it eventually.
Yeah,
we've seen that daily. I know you've dealt with it daily on the. I mean, a lot of the calls I get are from the friends and family members of that want it first.
Right.
And it's, you have to break the news to them that we can sit here and want it till the cows come home. But
yeah,
if Mike or Jacob or Jeff or Chris don't want it, and it's not going to happen. But there's ways to speed that up, I think.
Yeah, sure. Certainly there are. I mean, but I always have to with the family. I have to differentiate that it's like you can kind of force people or use leverage to get them into treatment.
Mm-hmm.
You can't leverage them into recovery.
Right.
That's important distinction.
And
I like
it's that surrender is something that you can't make happen.
Right. I always say you can start like recovery without surrender.
Mm-hmm.
You can't continue recovery without it though. Like you can get here with it. Hopefully the miracle happens.
Yeah.
But like you have to eventually have that surrender if you want to keep going.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And then I heard the term that keeps kind of learned the other week was active recovery versus, we could say it's either active recovery or dry drunk, but it's pretty, I don't know if there's any other options. If there's not, that's a slippery slope. So to work your program and not get complacent is a big takeaway for me personally. I mean, that's important to hear.
It is. It's one of the things that's been always been sort of difficult for me to accept is that there are a lot of different ways to recover though. Right. It's like just because you're not doing your recovery the way I did my recovery doesn't mean that you're not in recovery.
Yeah.
Like you start this church, there's going to be people that might sober up at that church. They may never step foot in an AA meeting. There's people that sober up like that. There are probably more people that sober up in other ways than in AA,
We want it to be a touch point.
Yeah.
A tool, not the tool, right? What got me sober, what helped me stay in active recovery was it was all the planets lined up also for me, to use the phrase you used. And the church I go to is because those planets lined up, and it was a guy I trust and love and would follow and help me get clean. And I've seen him walk the walk. And as far as being a pastor is concerned, I used to kid he could have been a, Buddhist monk or a some Allah guy. I whatever the fuck. I would have gone there after treatment. I told him, I've seen you put your money where your mouth is and help my family in particular. If I get clean and sober, if God helps me do this, I'll be there. And he said, when, not if that happens. I'll see you on Sunday. So I did. And then I joined a small group that God fucking constructed for me, not me. I didn't do it, but it ended up being a surrogate AA meeting for me every Tuesday night. The leader of it became a very close friend of mine and didn't know it, but he ended up being my sponsor and my no guy. I remember telling me one time, man, I was fucking spouting off with these opinions about knowing better than everybody. He's like, who the fuck are you? Like, he goes, with all due respect, it was like a hockey coach. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? And I didn't want to fight him for saying that. I listened to him. I'm like, it's a good question. I'm fucking nobody. Like, I have these opinions that I'm so superior than this other person. Right. Fuck off.
Right.
And I listened to him, and he to this day is a no guy for me. And that, we called it a core group, was life-saving for me. And I met people in that group that were in recovery, and I'm still dear friends with one woman who actually introduced me to my wife, who is battling health. Her husband passed away. He was 30 years sober. She was 30 years sober. And I went to a meeting with her. Right out of recovery, I was going back to the bar I was hanging out at and drinking club soda. I wasn't hanging out there for 8 hours a day. What a waste of time that I used to do. And I could sit at a bar stool for a whole day and just drink it away. I look back at it, I'm like, holy fuck, what a waste of actual time that was. But my people, I'll go there, and there was an old timer that was telling people I wasn't a real alcoholic because I could do that, and that pissed me off. I was like, that's some of those. So there were some fanatical old timers that I don't want to do AA because of that. I don't recommend that. But I did something else, and I worked my program. I advocate for AA, and I drove around for 4 years with a printout of every AA meeting with a 10-mile radius of my house in Webster, just in case shit got sideways. I knew where I could pop into. So maybe I used the program or not. I did, So I'm an advocate. I send people to meetings. Get the fuck off the couch and go. Otherwise, this isn't going to work. I know alcoholics to go to NA, and I know drug addicts to go to AA. I mean, whatever. Find your room,
right,
and your community. And we say it on every episode. You got to be honest with yourself, honest with your community, not use, and be in a community, that group learning. And I think those are huge cores. So,
I have a interesting story that my brother used to live in New Jersey and in Wildwood, New Jersey, and there was a beach there, and there a lot of people from Europe came and worked and stuff like that. And he met these Romanians there that he kind of got to be friends with. And one of the gals she came to him because he would tell people about his brother and stuff, being in recovery, and who had a father back in Romania that was an alcoholic, really bad alcoholic, and they didn't know what to do, and there weren't any AA meetings close to where he lived. He lived out in rural Romania or something like that. And we found a Romanian, we somehow translated the 12 steps into Romanian, okay? And she sent it to her father, and he and his wife put it on his refrigerator, and every morning they would go together and they would go through and read the 12 steps, and he got sober.
No shit.
Yeah. I mean, last I heard he was still sober, but that's all they did every day. They would read through the 12 steps, So I mean,
it goes back to what you said, Jacob. You do it.
Yeah. People get sober a lot of different ways,
Well, I think, your story is incredible, and I appreciate you coming on and sharing it and the work you're doing. I can only imagine as a God guy, like, I think every once in a while we get glimpses of the work we're doing, somebody will reach out and be like, and you always say, no, you did it. I connected the dot. But every once in a while there's a glimpse. It keeps you going. It keeps you helping and serving people. But I don't think we ever have the full picture of the fucking trickle down effect of people that you've been able to help through this journey. Yeah. And I don't think we'll ever know. You'll never see it. Maybe in a different light, but I think you do get glimpses, and it's just countless. Like I'm thinking of endless phone books of fucking people that you've helped throughout your 46 years. So I'm really grateful for that, and to learn from you and call you my mentor as well. Fucking mentor hog over there.
Well, thanks for having me, you guys. I really do appreciate it.
We'll do it again. I want to, do you do any work in like didn't you say that Mike does some at the like recovery, what do they call them? They have the festivals.
No, that's the other guy.
The other guy? All right.
Well, Mike, you did the art and recovery thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you noticed in my office that like tattoo flash sheet on the wall.
Yeah.
Jeff Wise made that. He was next to you there.
Oh yeah.
He still talks about being next to you.
I talked to Jeff.
Yeah, he made that for me.
Did you ever?
He gave me He gave me an old pinball machine about 6 months ago that he found on the side of the road. A real like old timey pinball machine that was kind of beat up and shit. He called me up and goes, "Hey, do you want a pinball machine?" I go, "Yeah." I gave him take it. I want to make a table out of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did you? Are you not restoring it or like antiquing it?
I'm probably going to cut the top off of it because it's got like great graphics and you know the bumpers and lights and all that kind of stuff, and then put a piece of glass over the top and legs on it.
Nice.
I was gonna say, you're not afraid of your coffee table and go this way?
Yeah.
I'll have to check out the antique store.
Yeah.
I used to watch American Pickers.
It's a good.
You ever watch that show?
Oh, I love
one
it.
of them die.
That's one of them that that's one of the reasons that got me interested from watching that show.
Really?
Yeah. It looked like so
That
much
girl
fun.
on there has a OnlyFans now. Don't ask how I know.
She was hot. Like how nasty OnlyFans?
Not that nasty.
Oh.
What's her name?
Danielle.
Yeah, right.
Not that nasty, so a little nasty?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about it.
Right. Yeah, sure he doesn't. Well played. Hey, did you hear him hit that fucking eject button?
Yeah.
Well, Mike, I am so fucking grateful for you. I appreciate you, man. What a cool story, and getting to know you is just a blessing for me. So what a pleasure.
Well, let me know if I can be any help in the future, okay?
Always, yeah. Be careful what you wish for. We're going to be sending a bunch of people your way. But thanks again. Appreciate you coming on. 46 years and counting.
Yep.
Let us pray.
I'm going to quit at 50.